ladies and gentlemen, I am your Destiny Dad, and welcome to our weekly reset video. Happy Tuesday, Guardians. I hope you all had a good weekend. As you can probably tell from the sound of my voice, I am still pretty sick. I'm not dying or anything crazy like that. I'm gonna be fine. I believe it's just a pretty rough sinus infection. I don't get sick very often, but I have really bad allergies, and when they act up, it really wipes me out pretty bad. I apologize for missing this past Friday, but I've had a constant headache and little to no voice and a hard time breathing and all of that. And on top of that, my AC went out, and it's in the middle of what is starting to become the hot season where I live. So it's been 80 plus degrees in my home every day, so I've been sweating my engrams off while also not being able to breathe, not being able to move or do anything, having a splitting headache, just absolute nonsense. But I am attempting to make this video. Hopefully I can get through it without having too much of a coughing fit or anything like that. And if that something like that does happen, hopefully it's not bad enough that I can't cut it out and fix it all. So let's see what our old friend Banshee has for us this week. Alrighty, this week at Banshee we have the Hollow Words Fusion Rifle. Tab, accelerated coils, corkscrew, slideways, disruption break. Actually, I could see that used in PvE. Not everybody enjoys disruption break, and I know most people probably would want something a little different on a fusion, especially considering this fusion can now roll with things like oh god, what's the new arc perk? Rolling Thunder? Not Rolling Thunder, but it's what is, you know the one I'm talking about. It gives you jolt on damage and kills. Anyways, this is probably not a S tier perk, but if you are pairing this with some sort of like heavy hitting kinetic weapon, maybe you're walking around with a 120 hand cannon or a 150 scout rifle. I could even see pairing this with like Touch of Malice or something like that. Not even that, like this with a kinetic weapon in a top slot and then Microcosm, and then using this to break shields and then swapping to Microcosm, like using a tether, then swapping this, breaking the shield, and then like, you know, and then slideways. I'm not a fan of sliding to reload in PvE personally. I know a lot of people like it, but for some reason there's some hang up there for me personally. With that being said, I think this is actually a decent pick. I think it might be worth a grab. Up next we have Nezrek's Whisper with Frenzied Lead from Gold. Actually not a bad roll. Ballistic I think is decent. Swap Mag is really good. A decent glaive, decent roll. If you don't have it, I'd say go ahead and grab it, because this will do you good. Also, this is a craftable glaive, so if you have some resonance or harmonizers or whatever those things are called, the little yellow and red squares, I just forget what they're called. They're resonant harmonizers or something like that, I think. Yeah, if you have any of those, pick up a few of these and slap some of those in here, and you can craft it exactly how you like. Sail Spy Pitch Glass, another craftable weapon. Arc Linear Fusion Rifle, one of those ones that looks cool and you want it to be really good, but this here is unironically the best roll that you can get on it. I believe there might be one damage perk. Okay, there's a couple. You can get Focus Fury, you can get Vorpal, and you can get Frenzy. But beyond that, there's not a really great damage perk, and I believe that with the numbers, at least when this thing first came out, Volt Shot, like being able to proc Volt Shot and then get it to jolt multiple times within a magazine, this was able to do more damage than those other perks, if I remember correctly, but don't quote me on that. So this is one of those ones that is really cool looking. Actually, you could also get a Clown cartridge in left column too, which in today's world of things like triple tap, 4 times the charm, envious assassin, envious arsenal, rapid hit and clown cartridge just are not great, I don't think, but they're definitely worse things for it to have in that column. So if you don't have a decent arc linear and you need one, this one will do you good. This roll is okay. It can be crafted a little bit better, but it's not going to break the bank either way. Up next, we have the Mercado 45, a really solid LMG, honestly, with hatchling, which is great, and steady hands, which is less great. Alloy is good on this. Arrowhead is good on this. I know that this can roll with demo, I believe, in left column, and what else? Triple tap demo, attrition orbs, even slice if you want to go that route. So you have a few better options in left column than this for PvE, but if you're just looking for a strand LMG to do decent ad clear, this thing will do good for you. I think I have a couple rolls of it kicking around that I use pretty consistently when I want a strand LMG. It's a very underrated one in my opinion. Up next, we have Bad Omens with tracking and quick draw, high velocity or implosion, and then volatile or counter mass. Once again, this rocket has just seen better days, and unless they rework its perk pool, I don't think there's going to be a real reason to pick it up. I could see a play for maybe auto loading or field prep with maybe cluster bombs, and that's about it. I don't think any other role on this thing is going to be worth your time, and even then you don't get impact casing, so you are just mathematically doing worse damage compared to every other rocket that is even similar to this one. So I recommend passing on this. Even if this were a decent rocket, this role specifically is really not that great. Maybe for PvP, I could see like a little bit of a reason for taking it into PvP, I guess, but beyond that, I can't see a reason for it to be used. Last but not least, Hollow Denial, a very strong trace rifle, great this season, great in general. Surplus Dragonfly, okay for ad clear. Definitely can get some better rolls than this, and it is craftable. So once again, if you have your harmonizers, you can rip a few of these from Banshee, get this thing crafted, and this thing is genuinely really strong. Oh god, what all can it have? I believe it can have demo? No, it cannot have demo. Lead from Gold in left column is really great. Well rounded, let me see. No. Lead from Gold or Surplus in left column probably are your best options. Right column, you can get Repulsor Brace, you can get Swashbuckler, Unrelenting, Dragonfly, Killing Tally is the one that most people would probably go for. There's several ways to craft this thing that will make it do good for you. So yeah, I definitely recommend picking this up. This is not the worst roll it could get. I'm not a huge fan of Surplus personally, but a lot of people like it. I guess in PvE you're gonna have your ability uptime a lot higher than in PvP, But all around, I probably would not use this roll specifically, but if this one tickles your fancy, it's not a bad roll. Alrighty, after that, I say we go and see what our friend Ada1 is up to this week. Alrighty, here at Ada1, as always, she has her synthesizer bounties. And for this week's armor set, we have the Dead End Cure for the Hunter. Nothing to spike. There's some legs with 23 resilience spike, but there's no other spike to go with it to really make it valuable. So for Hunter, I say probably pass on the armor this week. For our shaders, we have War Cult Rain, which actually doesn't look too bad. I think on a different armor set would look better than it looks on this. Very blue and gold, lots of grayish white. After that, we have New Pacific Sync. Ooh, that's actually kind of pretty. If you're into blue, that's like a nice blue and silvery kind of color combo. I could see some people liking that one. And then lastly, we have the Satao Tribe, one of my favorites from the tribe shaders that came out during the Black Armory. I believe this one has some light animation to it, if I'm not mistaken. It's gonna be hard to see zoomed out when he actually come down here. And let's maybe go to my arms and let me see. Where are we looking? We're looking in the Black Armory. One thing they do need to do is fix the way that shaders work in terms of like their organization. Okay, I'm not sure if it'll actually show up, but there's some like wavy moving. It kind of makes you look, if for anybody who played during the Black Armory, you could charge your armor and weapons with batteries. That would give you resistance to enemies in the forges. And it would give you this kind of like, almost like how the Strand overshield looks now, how it kind of has that like thin film over you and it looks like real wavy and kind of like it's moving. It has that kind of effect on your armor. It looks really cool. I think it's cool. I use this specific one for a long time, I believe on my Stasis Hunter cosmetics. I think I changed it in recent times, but it's definitely a worthwhile pickup shader. Definitely rare, definitely hard to come by. Alrighty, and with that being said, let's get on over to our Titan and our Warlock, and let's see what we have for us on those characters this week. For your Titan, we have the Retrograde TG2 set. AC. Got a helmet that is 51 with 12 resilience, 11 recovery, and 17 discipline. That might be worth a pickup for those spikes. And then you have your arms with 19 resilience and 16 strength. Also, low base stat. Actually, 57 is pretty high for Ada. Most of her stuff stays between like 50 and 55 usually. So 57 is pushing pretty close to 60. That's actually a decent piece for her. As always, low spikes, bad objectively armor. But if these spikes are helpful and make your build be able to run triple hundreds or quad hundreds or dual 100, dual 70 or anything like that, who cares if the armor is quote unquote bad if it makes your build work. Up next on the Warlock, we have ourselves the Hyro Camo Armor set. And let's see, it does not look promising so far. We got a 57 helmet. It does have 12 recover, 19 discipline, but it does unfortunately have 16 mobility. Unless you're needing a PvP helmet and you like mobility on your Warlock there, probably a pass on the armor outside of cosmetics. And I believe that wraps us up for this week. Huge thank you to everybody who came out. I apologize once again for my voice and the delay on videos last week and today. I still feel like hot garbage, and honestly I debated making a video today, but I didn't want to miss 2 in a row. So, love you all, huge thank you for the support. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like, and if you have not done so yet, subscribe. It's free and it helps me grow, helps me continue to be able to make these videos and invest time into this channel. And I believe with all of that being said, I will see you guys next time. Enjoy your week's Guardians.